I've always been kind of a preservationist of sorts and historian. I've always loved the history of bluegrass and getting to know people that created it. And in 2022, I guess, I'd been around Bobby Osborne a lot. I met him I seen him the first time in 2002. In 2006, I actually got to meet him. I have the picture of the first time that we ever met. I have it in my mandolin case backstage. And met him in April of 2006 in Eminence, Missouri at that big festival. And from then on, we were kind of tight, you know, and I got an old mandolin. And at that point, he's like, hey, you should come over to the house. And I said, what? Bobby Osborne, the Osborne brothers, he invited me to his house. So from that point on, I'd go to his house maybe once a month. And COVID was really difficult on a lot of people. It was difficult on me for sure, but it was difficult for Bobby as well. The Opry wasn't calling as much, and they weren't calling their older artists, and he thought that no one wanted to see him anymore or be around him anymore, and I told him that was a lie. And so in January of 2023, we started booking some shows for him. He was 91 years old and going out and playing these shows, and he was still doing just as good as he ever did. And in January of 2023, we started a record, and we picked out his songs. He was still being creative as can be. Picked out songs, and we got in the studio, and we got 8 tracks. Avery is playing the guitar on all of it. And in June 27th, we lost him unexpectedly. And we got 8 tracks with his voice on it, and those are some of the most precious things I have. And I was a pallbearer at his funeral. I spoke at his funeral. And 2 days before he passed away, his daughter Tina, which I don't know if she's here or not, but his daughter Tina had told me, we didn't know, what was going on, but the Sunday before he passed, Tina told me that I was his best friend. He said that. And so that, the American Currents thing is amazing, but I don't think anything will ever beat being called Bobby Osborne's best friend. And then I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with the project, and Bobby's still around. He comes and knocks me upside the head every once in a while. And one night I was sitting on the porch, and I didn't know what to do. I'd halted everything with the project, and I heard him just as plain as day, right here, right next to me, and he said, I gave you something, now do what you want to with it. And I was like, what does that mean? And I figured it out really quick. I said, I could either, I could throw this stuff away, I could just put out those 8 tracks, or I could do something, and I could do something big. And I figured out right at that moment I couldn't do it with Bobby anymore, but I was going to do it for him. And so we're working on the project. We're getting it done, and it'll be out this year, Bobby Osborne's last recordings. And it's amazing. And I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. But, I was having one of those difficult times as well in December, and I thought, I'm just going to give this stuff up because it's hard. It's really, really hard. And it's hard to travel. It's hard to maintain. And then you've got 7 or 8 people that are part of your payroll, and you got to make the money, and you got to pay these guys, and you got to keep the bus up, and you got to do all these things. And I just, you know what? I'm going to quit all this stuff, and I'm going to be a realtor.
Yeah, I bet you are.
That's what I come home. I went on a vacation, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I got home, and I had a package from the Country Music Hall of Fame. I'm like, what is this? And I opened that letter, and it was the week before what would have been Bobby's 92nd birthday. He was born on December 7th of 1931, and it was one of those knocking me upside the head moments. On the way home from the airport, they were playing the Osborne Brothers songs, and there was a tribute show on Sirius XM, and then there was a repeat show from the year previous of the Del McCurry show on Sirius XM Bluegrass Junction. And so, being that it was a repeat show, they were talking like Bobby was still around. He's still on the Opry, he's still doing this, and it was beating me down all the way home. I actually turned the radio off. And when I got home and I read that first paragraph from the Country Music Hall of Fame. It said, "We want to feature you in the American Current State of the Music with your mentor, Bobby Osborne, I melted. I hit the floor. And it was another Bobby moment. He came and hit me upside the head one more time. And so it's an honor. It really is. I love this establishment. I love this place. I love country music. I love bluegrass music. And it's an honor to be in the American Currents exhibit. Hopefully y'all will see it as you pass through. But it's also way more important to me to be next to one of my best friends ever.